I'm going to teach you how to fit your brand new one blade's edge to a new pair of boots. Let's get into the video. So this is what you need to fit your one blade's edge to your boots. You need your frames, you need your boots, you need the screws, then you're going to need the drill bit. So I'm using the 2.5 here. So we use the drill bit. And then I also use one of these, which has a point in it to mark the hole. And then afterwards, once you've marked the hole, it's much easier to get the drill in the right place to then to drill the hole. You can also use a pen as well. I just find using a drill bit, so if you have those. So that is exactly what you need, and then you need your drill as well. And the last thing you need is a way to measure to find the center. So now I'm going to show you how to find the center. I've already found the center on these, but I'm going to show you exactly how I did it. So have your pen handy and ready. So I'm just going to set that to the side. Then this is what I do. I hold on 1 centimeter, and then this is a small 220 millimeter. So the smaller boots are harder to do because there's no getting around how wide the frame needs to be because all the wheels are the same width. So it's tight. You know, when you go on a bigger boot, it's going to be wider. So this is what I do. I hold 1 centimeter, and for the 220, I'm holding 7 centimeters. So you know exactly where that is. And the center is the center. It doesn't matter where you measure. I always measure 2 points, and then I line it up so I can see the front and the back to line the frames up. So I hold 1 centimeter, and on these I'm holding 7. If you're on a bigger frame, you could hold 8, 9, it doesn't matter. But around here and around here is going to give you a nice straight line. So you hold 1 centimeter, and I hold 7, and then you just move along until the edge of your nail on each 1 and 7 is perfect. So that is exactly there. Then you just hold that in place, and then you would take your pen and then you would mark it just like I have there. And then you do the same at the back. So at the back here, I'm going to hold 1 and I'm going to hold 5, and you want to line that up. So here it's not perfectly like 4 centimeters, or I should say, yeah, 4 centimeters, but you line it up so it mirrors. So it mirrors exactly, and that is just there. And then you would hold it in place and you would mark it. Then you have 2 points of contact. Then you take your measure and you hold them in line just like that. And then once you've found your center there, just like that, then you would mark the front, and you would also then make sure it's perfectly lined up like that. You would then mark the back, and that is how you find the center of your boot. Now I'm going to show you without any markings. So if you understand already what to do, then you can fast forward to the next part. So as I said before, we've got our boot. We go 1 centimeter and 7 centimeters. And actually take your pen, stick it in your mouth or stick it somewhere so you can grab it. So we're going to go 1 centimeter and 7, and we're going to move along until it's perfectly lined up. So that is right about there. So then you're going to make sure that it's lined up. So I'm really happy with that, and I'm really happy with that. And then you go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So look, if you look here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 centimeters. So the center is right there. So you mark that there. So that's your center here. Then at the back, we're going to measure here. So you see here, this is actually 4.4 centimeters. So an easier way to do it is just to hold 1 centimeter and 5 centimeters and find till it's exactly in the center. So it's essentially, you got 0.2 here and 0.2 here. It's actually a little bit less, but you want that just to be lined up perfectly. And actually an easier way to do it is to hold like that. So I am happy with that. Remember, it doesn't have to be 100% perfect. It doesn't need to be perfect. Remember that point, okay? Because I'll show you why later. And I figured out how to do all this myself. I like to do everything myself. I like to figure stuff out. I like to understand it, think from first principles and figure it out. So then what we do here, we're going to measure this up. So this is lined up there. So if you look now, it can take a second, but as you're watching this, me going slower is better for you, right? Because you can kind of follow along and pause. So once you feel like that's kind of good, then you're going to hold with one hand. I've got the pen in this hand. So that is lined up there. I'm really happy with that. Then you're going to mark the front there. And then you're going to come to the back and you're going to mark the back there. So now you've got your, it's like I've missed it. I've missed the front. I don't know how I did that. I thought I was writing it. So anyway, now we've got 3 points of contact. So we can go there and there. So we've got 3 points of contact there. You just need to make sure that that lines up. So you're happy with it. So once you're happy with that, then you mark there. So we've got it there. And as you see, it's not in line with this. Some boots, they will be in line with this. Ignore this. You want to find the center of here. This is what you're standing on. You're not standing on this. You're standing on this. Is this where your center is? So once you've got that, then what do? You take your frame and you want this to be right at the front. So you can use this center to find out where the center is there. And you do want this to be flush here. You want that to be right at the front. So what we can do, we take the frame and we align that up so it's right at the front. You do not want it, what you don't want to do, you don't want it to be going over. You want it to be right at the front. You want it to be flush. So we take that right at the front there. You can just use your thumb. And then now we've got the center line at the back here where you want to line this up. So you want to hold this in the center there because you can eyeball this, and on the frames you can kind of see where the center is just here. Okay, so we line that up there and then we line that up at the center there. So that is bang in the center. Now something else that you could do if you wanted, you could draw a line down the center, but then you're marking all the bottom, and personally I don't want to do that. So you line that up so it's at the center, and you line up so it's at the center there. And then you've got your center. Now the next thing you want to do, once you've done this, once you're happy with that, and as I said, it doesn't need to be perfect because we're going to be using these two and these two and these two here. So then afterwards you can actually adjust side to side, because what you'll do, you'll put these 4 in, then you will skate on the frames, and you will skate until you are happy that they are in the right place. Then we put the rest of the holes in. Now you do see on the samples that I use, there's only 4 holes. On the ones that are being shipped, there is going to be 6 holes. So like on this one here, for example, you would be at the front there and you would be here. And then we will be going into these 2. And then later, if you want, you can go into those 2. For skaters on the smaller frames, you're probably not going to need 4 in the back. You're just not going to need them. 2 is going to be more than enough. And at the front, you can go here and then you'll be able to put these 2 in, and that is going to be more than enough. So once we have the placement and we are really happy with it right there, then you take your drill bit, which got the point, or you take a pen and then you hold it and you put it right in the center, and then you just press down and turn it, and that's going to give you a nice little hole that you can then drill after. So once we've done that, you just have to be careful not to move the frame. Then we go into this side here, and then this side here, Make sure you get the center. And once you've got those, you are good. You are good to go. And what I also do whilst I'm doing this, you can do the other holes as well, because like these are samples, and I know that this is right, so I don't need to adjust. So these are the testers, so I'm just going to be putting the holes in anyway, so they're ready. So no one's going to be testing essentially to see if it's in the right place. I know it's in the right place, but some people may want to change with your own boots. So once we've done that, then just now you can see, I don't know if you can see that, you can actually see where the holes are. So I just take the little thing after and I just do a little bit more. So then that's going to be easier for the drill bit to stay in the right place. And we've got the two here. Just like that. So once you're in this position, you've got your holes done. The next thing is you're going to be drilling the holes. Now we do have the other one to do, so I'm going to do the same thing. And as you're watching and following along, I don't think you mind this happening twice, because this is all about learning. And when you're doing this, when you haven't done it or you haven't done it much, it can be scary. I used to be worried about doing it, but then when I did all of my testing in Roller World 5-6 years ago, I did it so many times with so many frames. Now yes, once you have had frames or ice blades on, it's very easy because you've got a guide. But when it's a brand new boot, you don't have a guide. So there's the center, and then you find the center there and you put the hole in, and then the next one. Done. Now just move your hand and then just always double check that nothing has moved at the front, and then you'll just put it in the slider right in the center, just like that. And I'm doing the other holes because these are going to use for my taster sessions. And that's that done. And then you can quickly just, this is why this is much better than a pen, because afterwards when you drill, it's just easier. I like to find ways to make things easier and faster. As you can imagine, I am quite busy, so knowing what to do and when to do it is always the tough part for me. But every day I do many different things, and sometimes many things at the same time. But this is, I can only do this at this time. So once we've done this, the next thing is to get our drill. So you've got your drill, you make sure, oops, gone the wrong way, and you put your little guy in there, put it all the way in. Oops, did it the wrong way. That's done. Make sure it's on drill, and then we're going to drill the holes. And something that you can do, you don't have to do this, but you can do it, is you can take the inner sole out before you do this. You don't have to, but I generally like to take the inner sole out before I do this. I should have done this before, but that's okay. That's okay. You've just got your new One Blades Edge and you're super excited to get them on. And sometimes it can be tricky. So yeah, so I'm going to take that out because I am going to drill all the way through. So then we just take and we put it in place like that, and then just hold it nice and straight and then just drill. That's one. This is why it's good to do it outside, because then you're not worrying about the bits. I generally find not doing it too fast is better. Now you will only be doing the sliders to start. I'm just doing all of them because, as I've said, these are for the taster sessions, and these will actually be used tomorrow. And tomorrow is 24th of April or something. So obviously you're not watching this at the same time as me. So I'm going to be taking them somewhere, which is really cool. And then we just have the back ones to do. Line that up, make sure it's straight. Always take the bits off in between. And so I'm not going to drill the other ones, I'm just going to put this one on, make sure all the bits are off. Then you're going to swap, like one of these is great, so it's just got a drill bit and then it's an extender. So the extenders, I picked up 3 of these for a few pounds on Amazon, different lengths, because these are great. So then when you want to go all the way in, you're not getting stuck. So let's make sure it fits. So put it in. Now, very important, turn this down. I turn it down and I start on about 3, because the worst thing you can do is have it set on drill and ruin your boots. So the next thing we're going to do then, we've got our screws. So I'm going to take a small screw. I'm going to actually get 2 of these out for the sliders. Put them there, hopefully they don't roll away. And I'm going to take 2 out for the back. And they are ready there. So then we take our frame, and I announced something today. Our frames are actually going to have the laser etching on both sides, which is really, really cool. So then we line everything up. These are all perfect there. And you take your screw and you can just put it in with your fingers to start, because you've got a hole there. You can just put that in a little bit like that. And then you're going to do it nice and slowly. You can do it by hand. I just like to use the drill. And then you go nice and slow. So I just put it in a little bit. Then I take one from the heel, and you can start to put that in a little bit with your fingers as well until it's sitting like that. Then you take your drill and nice and slow, make sure it stays straight. But because you've drilled the hole, it will go in nice and straight, just like that. And then before you tighten it up, I make sure that it's exactly where I want it to be. And once it is, then I will attach the first one that I did. And then I will attach the back one, making sure it is exactly where I want it. Before we do that, and then I will put the 2 other screws in, making sure everything is lined up, everything looks perfect. And then the last one in the back. And that is all that you will do at this point. So here you see, all done. And at this point, you would put your wheels on and your stopper, and you would go and test. And once everything is great and you are really happy with it, then you would put the remainder of your screws in, which I am going to do now. And as I said, because this is for my taster sessions, I'm just putting them all in so they are ready to be used. just like this. It's not super interesting to watch now. You guys have seen what you need to see, but there you have it. Both frames fitted, look really good. And once you have yours, you will have laser etching on both sides, so they won't look plain like this. And if you do have any questions, leave them in the comments. Reach out to me by DM, anywhere you like, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook.